Hi everyone, it's Pat here. Thanks a million for tuning into my YouTube channel. I hope you've been watching my videos because you will know I'm traveling around South America at the moment. And currently I'm in Paraguay, and I'm in the capital of Paraguay, Asuncion. Interesting place. It's not on everyone's list, like it ain't Paris, but it's interesting, and I've enjoyed my stay here. I've done some videos about the city, but today I'm doing something a little different. I'm not just talking about the place, I'm talking about a person as well. And one of the surprising things when I'm traveling around is that I'm coming across a lot of Irish people. I'm Irish, just in case you haven't picked that up. That have made significant impacts in countries that they've ended up in, and that they're not known at all in Ireland. I've come across so many examples of this. Like people have made really massive impacts, and never heard of them. Never heard of them in my history class or anything like that. And Paraguay is no different. Now there's a person I'm talking about today. She's called Elisa Lynch. She's well known in South America, obviously well known in Paraguay. She was born in Charleville, County Cork, which is my own county, and I haven't heard of her. Now she is known, very well known in South America as well. Now it depends on what history you read, but she's either known as the person who turned her lover, the president of Paraguay, into a bloodthirsty dictator. He couldn't have done that on his own, that's what they're trying to tell you. Or else she's known as a national hero, which she's known as by most Paraguayans here today. So which one is it? Let's check it out. Now, Elisa Lynch and her family actually emigrated from Ireland when she was only 10 years of age. The reason why they left Ireland was because of the Great Famine, which devastated the country, and over 1 million people died of starvation then, and just as many, if not more, actually emigrated. Most went to the New World, but Elisa Lynch's family had a bit of money, so they went to Paris. Now, after living there for a few years, eventually she actually married a French officer in the military. Now, that didn't last, that didn't stand the test of time, and their marriage was eventually annulled. When she was in Paris, the most significant thing that was happened to her in her life happened. She met a general from the Paraguayan army, General Francisco Lopez, and they had an affair, and she eventually ended up returning to Paraguay with him. Now they never married, but they did have 6 children. And when he eventually became, I think his father died, and he was his successor, and when he became president, now even though they weren't married, she was known by everyone as the First Lady of Paraguay. In 1864, the most significant event of Paraguay's history happened. Paraguay entered war against 3 of its neighbours, not 1 but 3, Brazil, Argentina and Uruguay. Now it might not be as crazy as it sounds, because these countries had recently won their independence from Spain, so they didn't have massive armies. And actually at the start of the war, Paraguay had as many soldiers as the other 3. Now of course, as the war dragged on for another 6 years, the other countries had more resources. The war proved to be an absolute disaster for Paraguay. I've seen reports stated that from 60 to 90% of the male population died during the war. People say that Paraguay still hasn't recovered from that today. I'm like, it's just over 150 years ago. So it was an absolute disaster. Now, Elisa Lynch was not a person for just sitting back and doing nothing. So she assisted the president, her lover, with the war. Now, her enemies used propaganda to say that she drove him to the war and she was the main person pulling the strings. But recent history has shown that that was not true. If she can be accused of anything, it was that she stood by her lover from the very good times to the worst times. She was there the day he died in battle. And also on the same day, her son died, her 15-year-old son. Now, her son had been made a colonel at the age of 15 years of age. By the end of the war, Paraguay was using child soldiers. That's how bad this situation got. Brazilian soldiers came across him and they asked him to surrender, and he shouted, "A Paraguayan colonel never surrenders." So they shot him. Now, the invading armies had promised to bring civilization to Paraguay. So as Elisa held her dead son in her hands, she shouted at the Brazilians, "Is this the civilization that you have spoke of?" Later that day, she buried both her lover and her son with her bare hands. Now is with a bit of irony that as I'm finishing this video, storm clouds have gathered over Asuncion. The winds have just like appeared out of nowhere, and I think I'm actually hearing sounds like the last post across the road there. So what happened to Elisa Lynch? She ended up being returned back to France, where she died virtually penniless. She died without any grandeur anywhere, you know. But in the 1960s, the Paraguayan government took her remains back here to Asuncion, where she was given a national hero's burial. Now she is widely held with a lot of respect here in Paraguay. So that's the story of Elisa Lynch. As a fellow Corkonian, Elisa, I salute you. And you definitely deserve at least a couple of pages in Irish history.